Hello, this is Jackie B. Peterson. I'm the author of Better, Smarter, Richer, 7 Business Principles for Encore, Solo, and Creative Entrepreneurs. It is my mission to help solos, those of you in one-person businesses, understand what it takes to be financially successful in a solo business model. Solo businesses are distinctly different from traditional businesses, and there's some things that you just absolutely must do in order to find the financial success that you're seeking. So go to my website, bettersmarterricher.com. You can download the free ebook outlining the 7 principles, tune into previous podcasts of our Solo Pro Radio show, sign up for the free newsletter, and join the conversation on the blog. We'd love to have you do that. And, of course, tune in and check in and track our radio discussions that we've had every week with an Encore entrepreneur or a solopreneur, just as we're going to do today. So we've got a couple events coming up in Portland in April I want to let you know about. We are working with the AARP and the Small Business Administration on a project we're calling Work After 50 Plus, and we're going to be doing 2 programs in April 22nd and April 24th. One of them will be at the Willow Creek campus of Portland Community College, and the other will be at the 42nd and Killingsworth Workforce Training Center. So if you're interested in either of those, go to my website and take a look, because we'd love to have you join us. So today we're talking with Tracey Warren, and Tracey was an early adapter of social media, and now she's just absolutely determined to teach its ins and outs and valuable uses to many small businesses who absolutely cannot overlook or underestimate the importance of this tool. Tracey teaches a program, I love this title, How to Use Facebook to Increase Your Bottom Line Without Sucking Up All Your Time, because that's certainly one of the complaints people have. She's also the author of 6-Word Lessons. It's a book, and these are short truths about successfully using social media today. I'm really looking forward to our discussion, and Tracey, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Hello.
Hi, I'm glad you're here. It's a bright, sunny day. So, Tracey, tell us about you. Tell us about your journey, like where you grew up, where you went to school, what you studied, and for heaven's sakes, what got you interested in social media?
Well, I am one of the few native Seattleites. I was born here and have lived here almost all of my life. I went to college in Spokane and could not wait to leave there as soon as I graduated. And I studied journalism. So I have a degree in communications. At the time, I thought I wanted to be a writer. In fact, I wanted to be a sports writer. I like sports, and so it seemed natural. But at the time I graduated, was not the right time to be finding a job as a reporter. And took a few, turns and things. And for a while there, I was a corporate trainer with Avon, and found that I really enjoy, let's face it, I really love an audience. And it's very easy for me to engage with them. And it was back in 2009 when I had a pretty horrific year. We had 3 deaths very close together in our family. And so in 2010, when I was sort of shaking myself out of this fog, I knew I needed to do something to make some money. Wasn't quite sure what that was, but I did start helping a friend with her Facebook page. And after doing that for a couple of months, I thought, I'm kind of good at this. I wonder if other people need help. And lo and behold, they do. And so I went from accidental entrepreneur to intentional business owner is basically what happened.
I love that. What a great transition from accidental entrepreneur. I'm going to write this down because I'm going to use this. I'm going to steal shamelessly from you, Tracey.
Fantastic.
Accidental entrepreneur
I love it.
to intentional business owner. Okay. You say it so well. Wonderful. Excuse me, everybody. I'm writing. That's fantastic. So in 2009, we were kind of starting into social media, or was it still pretty new at that point? I can't remember.
Well, technically, Facebook just celebrated their 10th birthday.
Uh-huh.
So it started in 2004, but in 2004 it was, at Stanford and then spread to other Ivy League schools. So in 2009, we were just barely scratching the surface of how businesses would use Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I feel like we're still scratching the surface of businesses using Facebook. One of the things I say often is that the worst thing that ever happened to social media was that people put the word marketing at the end of it. And so what happened was marketers everywhere said, yes, more places where I can broadcast my message.
Mm-hmm.
And it was those same marketers who 3, 4, 6 months later said, oh, this social media doesn't work. And they're right. It doesn't work when you focus on being a marketer. It does work when you focus on building relationships.
Okay. And so differentiate that for us, how you would talk about that. So if I go on and say, I'm having a sale, I'm trying to sell something to people. But if I said,
sure.
I had a great experience, so let me share this with you, that's building a relationship. Is that right?
Absolutely. Well, there's just a lot about adding value, and that's going to look different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so the whole building relationships, so social media can be used for a number of things. But first and foremost, it should be about building your reputation, building your expertise, and it's another way to stay top of mind with your ideal clients.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you treat it like a social gathering rather than a place to market. So if you go to a party, you're not going to walk around, or let's hope you're not, saying, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. But instead, what are we talking about when we're at a party? Oh, my gosh, I just had the best experience. I just saw this great movie. Well, we can do the same about our businesses, telling stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's I've interviewed several storytellers on here, and they all talk about the growth of storytelling as a way to market. And you've made it even more clear that one of the best ways to build a relationship is to tell stories about yourself and your life experiences, and that's really how you build your connections using social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and if I could add something else to that, here's what I understand. Or this is at least the way I see it. Right now, many, many people are hyper-connected. We are friends on Facebook. We're connected on LinkedIn. We follow each other on Twitter. In my demographic, the 40-somethings, it's rare that we even answer the phone anymore. We trade voicemail messages back and forth, and so what happens is there's this craving, at least as I see it, for humanness, for people to be human. And when you are human on social media, that's when the real magic happens. That, you know what, one day on my Facebook page, it was a Saturday night at 10 o'clock, and I said, I just can't think of anything brilliant to say. And I got like 15 people that clicked like. I thought, okay, I'm on to something here. The whole idea that I was talking to some people about this yesterday. There's this whole group of people on Facebook that have these what looks like perfect lives.
Yes.
They have perfect marriages. Their businesses are perfect, and we know that that's not true. And so when you can be one of those business owners that just says, you know what, I just got off the phone, and it was a really hard conversation that I just had with a client. That authenticity invites connection, like real human connection.
That's fantastic. That sounds like one of your 6-word lessons.
Yes, people want, I'm sure it is.
And I love that. I wrote that down too. Authenticity invites connection. And I think you're right. I think that it's pretty phony if you only tell your good news, because we all know life doesn't work that way. I mean, there's some good news we all have that's interspersed with things, but not everything works that way. And as you say, people are hungry for humanness. They want to see you as a human being. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is this the kind of thing that you're teaching in your business? So, if a client hires you to work on their social media, are you teaching them to do it? Are you doing it for them? Are you coaching them on how to talk? How does it work?
Can I just say yes? Because that's exactly, I work with people a few different ways, one of which is showing them how to do it if they want to manage their own, which I completely understand. There are a lot of businesses that do that. But I meet a lot more business owners that are raising a white flag and saying, oh, my gosh, I don't want to touch it. And then in that case, I do it for them. Okay, that's really good to know. I work with, as you may or may not know, I work with a lot with solo entrepreneurs. We call them solopreneurs. And I'm going to assume you are one. And what I'm always encouraging solopreneurs to do is focus their time and energy on the work that they do, to deliver the service or the product that is the core of their business. That's where they should spend the majority of their time. And then they hire someone else, and I think of this as a business-to-business relationship, B2B. I hire someone else whose business it is to do the things that I'm not good at and I really don't want to do, such as social media. Now, I cannot tell you how many people say to me, you can hire somebody to do your social media? And I say, yes, you can. And as a matter of fact, I have a lovely person that does my social media, and she's done it for me for, the last 15 months. And it is a godsend and wonderful. And I tell people that she has been me on Facebook for so long that if I posted on Facebook, people would say, Jackie must have hired her to be her on Facebook, because, the tone had changed just a little bit. Right. I have my own, this is a new mantra that I've borrowed from someone else, but if it's not my genius, it's not my job.
Oh, I like that too. Yeah.
And because I will find myself at the office, and usually it's when I'm trying to kill time or avoiding a task I really need to do. That's when I start doing research. I'm like, okay, is this the most effective use of my time? No.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop it. I have a Post-it on my computer that I look at every day. It says, do it, delegate it, defer it, or delete it. I'm a piler. I have piles of paper, and whether I pay attention to the piles or not, ultimately they bog me down because I know they're there. And so I am a solopreneur, but I have recently hired an assistant. She works for me very part-time, but the freedom that she gives me is, oh my goodness, it's so wonderful. Yes.
And you're just right in the solo model, because people worry that solo businesses can't succeed because the idea is that, you have to do it all yourself. And, there's that funny joke about being in business for yourself that says, wow, you can just work half-time, choose whichever 12 hours a day you want to work.
Right.
And, I'm a firm believer that what you do is you focus on your specialty where you are very, very, very good, and you devote the majority of your time to that particular specialty. And then, as I say, you outsource to someone else all the support work that needs to be done in any business. I don't care if they're a one-person business or a 50-person business. You still have to have bookkeeping. You still have to have social media. You still have to have a webmaster. You still have to have somebody that does the billing. All of those services have to be done, and there are people that actually love doing them.
Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness. Yeah. So, coming back to social media, you started with Facebook. Do you now do other social media as well?
I do. I primarily help businesses with Facebook because that's where they're the most comfortable. But if a business needs help with Google Plus or Twitter or LinkedIn, I help them with those as well, and Pinterest. Those are the big, 4 or 5. And
right.
so, but they're also different. Facebook is a daily monitoring thing, and so is Twitter, but LinkedIn and Pinterest don't take nearly as much effort. And the other thing is, I am not a believer that everybody needs to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And so helping them figure out where are the best places for them to play. Where is their target market?
I think
just
that
because it
is a particularly valuable service to do that. Because if you're flummoxed by Facebook, then along comes Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. You're just going to be overwhelmed and may not do any of it. And as you said, Tracey, there's probably parts of it that are very valuable for you and maybe parts of it that aren't valuable at all.
Right.
So I think helping somebody walk through that decision of what's right for their business is extremely valuable. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
that you do a lot of that kind of engagement. And then when they find out that you'll do it for them, woo! Yeah.
I get them just overwhelmed enough. No. It's all part of my strategy. No, not really.
Well, you're obviously very comfortable with it. So let me ask you, you have your program called How to Use Facebook to Increase Your Bottom Line. I love this. Without sucking up all your time, what are some of the ideas? I mean, how do you do that?
Well, when I teach that workshop, it's really about giving tips and tools for what are the best practices. And I hear people all the time say that Facebook is a time suck. And it is if you just sit here all day and scan through the feed. But if you're strategic about it and you have a plan and you know who you're talking to, then it doesn't have to suck your time. Even for somebody like me, this is what I do. I do Facebook, but there are also times when I am well aware that I am just wasting my time. And so it's like, okay, wait, I need to get away from Facebook too, just like everybody else. And so there's a number of tips that I give. I will share one right now if you would like.
I'd love it.
One of the things I share with people is when you use Facebook, and this might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but for maximum visibility, always comment.
Say that again.
Always comment instead of just clicking like.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So what happens on a post when anyone posts anything, if a whole bunch of people like it, it will say Tracey Warren and 8 others like this post. So you don't see who it was, but generally most people will read every single comment. So it's a visibility thing. Now, can you click like? Of course you can click like. But I'm talking about making it not a time suck and really maximizing your time. Even if your comment is one word, like, oh, that's beautiful, or thank you, or fantastic. It's a visibility thing.
So then the person comes back and they see that Tracey Warren has made a comment, and what that does is it just puts Tracey Warren in their mindset for a nanosecond. And the more time they do that, the more times somebody becomes, first of all, they become aware of you, And then they might say, I wonder who that Tracey Warren, what she really does. Or, gosh, I gathered from what she says that she works with Facebook, and I could use some help with Facebook. Maybe I'll go to her website, and they take a look, and sure enough, here you are with the workshops and the services that you provide, and there's a possibility you get a customer. Is that kind of how it works?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That visibility, sometimes people, in some businesses, they know they need you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And so you can build the relationship.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm thinking back to the old way of marketing, advertising. I think, even though we see tons of ads, I think for small businesses, advertising is really a shot in the dark. Particularly thinking of newspaper, even TV advertising. You have no idea if you're getting to your audience. But, what we back then used to teach people about spending their marketing dollars was to say to them, until somebody has seen your name or, you've repeated an ad at least 10 times, there has to be 10 eyes on the page before someone even you come up to their consciousness that, you're running this advertisement and they become aware of you. So you're talking about that in kind of a different way with commenting on Facebook, and keep doing it enough, on comments that pretty soon your name, becomes visible to people. Is that right? Am I kind of on line here?
Yeah, that's
very
exactly
good.
It.
Okay. So are you talking about people having a business Facebook page as opposed to a personal Facebook page? Aren't they somewhat different?
They are very different. And if you have a business, it's very important to have a business page.
Okay.
There's a few reasons why. One is it's the rules. If you use your personal profile solely for talking about your business, you actually this place we lovingly call Facebook jail is where you get sent.
Uh-huh.
And what Facebook will do is it's a violation of the terms of service, and so they will start to limit your capabilities of using Facebook.
Oh my goodness. They're serious.
And they're serious. And it's important to remember that spam is in the eye of the receiver. So I have a friend on Facebook, for example, who is with a company. I happen to like her, and I happen to like the company. But 90% of her posts on her personal page are about her business. And so last week I unfriended her because I'm tired of seeing the business posts. I like to follow the rules when it comes to social media, so I have an expectation that the people that I'm around will also follow the rules.
Yeah.
And so I sort of hold them to that. But the other thing about having a business page is having a business page gives you tons of information. If you are not sure when your fans are online, you can find that out in the insights. You can figure out what kinds of posts on your business page people respond to. You can figure out the best content to post, the best time of day to post, all in the back end, and it'll tell you who your fans are and where they live and how old they are.
Wow.
So you get lots of really great information that can help you more effectively use your social media.
Oh, wow.
Or
yes,
your Facebook.
because that's exactly what we want to know. We want to know those, those demographics about people. Who are we getting to? And even more, like you're saying, Tracey, we want to know what we put up there that gets a response.
Absolutely.
So that we can do more of that. Yeah.
And it is really a challenge because if you do a Google search, for example, and you ask, what is the best time to post on Facebook, you're going to get 150 people telling you their expert opinion. And that's why I always tell people, let your fans decide the best time to post. I also see statistics all the time about, well, if you add a photo, it gets 100% more engagement. But that's not true for every business. So you can test times of day and you can test content by just posting a variety of content. Often on my page, when I just ask a question with no photo attached, I get a lot more people interacting with me. And so I mix it up. Sometimes I have a link, sometimes I have a photo, sometimes it's just text, and then I can measure how did people engage with each post.
Yeah. And you know, one of the instructors, you know, I work for the Small Business Development Center at Portland Community College. I'm there part-time, and one of our instructors for some of our classes is pretty hot into social media, and I know one of the things he says is test everything. You know, absolutely, you know, whatever you do, put it up, test it, and see if even spacing on the page, the color of background, the words that you use, you know, the order in which you put the paragraphs, see what gets response, and you know, then follow that, because the rules are not specifically general rules as much as they are specific rules for the offer or the way that you are, you know, presenting your website and your information. So, yeah,
absolutely.
So you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you think social media, you know, marketing, which is what we're really talking about, even though we shouldn't have said marketing at the end, you know, do you think it's for everyone, for every business?
Well, I do think it can be beneficial for everyone, but not every platform is for everybody.
Yeah.
But and one of the things that I hear sometimes is Facebook isn't good for B2B. If you're a business selling to other businesses, but I am B2B, and I would say that is a bunch of malarkey, because I am having great success using Facebook. And so it really just depends. I know maybe my target market I know my target market is on Facebook, but perhaps someone listening, their business's target market isn't on Facebook. But my guess would be that they probably know someone who is. Now, there are a few exceptions. You know, if you're in manufacturing and you only sell to, you know, Boeing, okay, maybe that's not. I have had a few conversations with businesses that it wouldn't really make sense to have a Facebook page. But for most, part of it is, yes, you're building a relationship and your reputation, but you're also, just a little note, you're helping your Google search results.
Yes.
Because all of this activity you do on social media gets recorded by Google.
Yes. Yes.
So
you want to talk about that a little bit? Some of our listeners may not know about that. So why don't you share your expertise on that for a minute or two here?
My joke is Google controlling the world one search at a time. Because honestly,
you are correct.
If I am, thank you for saying that. I shouldn't have just busted out with an I am, but
yes, you are.
So there's some keys to that. One is you should be talking about what you actually do. So when I talk about social media marketing or social media management, those are all words that Google recognizes. And so the other thing about Google is it rewards activity. So for many people, we have a static website. And by static, I mean that it doesn't change very much. Now, our website should still be home. That's where people can find out the most information in the simplest way. So a website, Facebook doesn't negate having a website. But all that activity that you're doing on social media gets cataloged by Google. So for most businesses, if they use social media well, if you Google their business name, what typically comes up in search results is their Facebook page, their Twitter account, then their website.
That's interesting,
and
isn't it? Yeah,
so it's not perfect. None None of this stuff is. And everything works with these very complex algorithms that,
Yes.
It's intentional that we cannot understand them, especially with Google, because every time people think they've got it figured out, Google changes.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, because people figure out how to game it and game the system, and then it's good that they make a change. But one of the most recent change that Google made a few months ago was actually to reward human content. So instead of this whole idea of people being people, that's how Google just changed their algorithm to recognize people speaking to other people rather than throwing your keywords in a whole bunch of times. I mean, that used to be how people would do it, right? If you're a photographer, you just put photographer, photography, photographer over and over in your website and you would get found. Well, it's changed. And search results are changing in what I would consider a great way.
So let me ask you a question about that. Does that mean, like, if you've got a YouTube attached to your website, which is going to be people speaking, that is the little search spiders are much more interested in that now than they used to be? Because that's people speaking?
Well, not exactly. However, Google owns YouTube. So anything you do with video on your website is highly beneficial.
Okay.
Because Google gives more weight to their own property. That would be YouTube. In addition, I mean, YouTube is just, when I was saying about being human, it's more the typed words.
I see.
Search engines can't read the words you're using in a video. But YouTube, if you're not using it for your business, 4 billion video views a day happen on YouTube.
Oh, my gosh.
It is the number 2 search engine. If you need to know how to do anything, I mean anything, my daughter has started, she's 14, and I'm sitting in the living room one day, and she starts playing the piano with both hands. And I thought, what in the world? And she goes, I learned how to play that on YouTube. Like, she's learning how to play the piano by watching YouTube videos. So are there things in your business or your listeners' businesses that is just another piece of their expertise that they can be sharing on YouTube? So it's one of those, and this is, for me, this is my Achilles heel. This is my cobbler's shoes, if you will, that I am a speaker, and I would like to be speaking more, and my YouTube profile is not good. And so this is one of those, okay, do as I say, not as I do, because it's on my list. It just hasn't gotten done yet.
Isn't that funny how it's so much more fun to do work for a client than do it for yourself?
Oh, my gosh, it is.
I know. I think, I've thought about that, Tracey, and I think it's because we're emotionally attached to our own work, and, so it's got a bunch of shoulds and things like that, judgments attached to it. But when we're working for a client, this is thrilling and we're problem solving and, people are grateful and it's really fun and exciting to do it. And so, of course, we choose to do that first.
Of course.
Oh, wow. Well, that's funny. But good information. So it sounds like a big part, well, maybe not a big part, at least part of your work is staying very up to date on what Google is up to and what Facebook is up to and how they're being used, because they certainly are changing all the time. And, you would have to stay current with that, don't you, to really serve your clients? I
do, and even then sometimes I'm surprised. It has happened on more than one occasion where I'm teaching a workshop, and I will open LinkedIn and I will go somewhere I've been to 100 times, and it won't be there.
Yeah.
Because it's been moved. And the same thing happens with Facebook.
Yeah.
Because no, they don't make announcements. Oh, we just changed it. Business pages can now edit posts. Nobody says that. It's just I go into a post and all of a sudden I can edit it. That's brand new this week, by the way.
So my discussion with people is going to say this is good for your brain. It might be frustrating, but, what we've learned in brain science and in keeping our brains agile is that the brain likes change. It likes new things. It likes new challenges. So, so in a very big picture way, maybe the changes that happen in these social media platforms are really good for us because we get surprised. You go in and say, okay, I've learned this. And I'm not going to learn anymore, but I've learned how to use Facebook or I've learned how to use LinkedIn. And the next time we go in, it's totally different. And we go, what is going on here? And your brain says, woohoo, look, I get to learn something again. And our conscious mind goes, oh, my God, I'm going to have to learn something new.
Yes. And then I'm going to complain about it on social media.
Yes, there you go.
That's usually what happens.
And they're probably not going to listen to it or pay attention to at all.
It's sort of an interesting phenomenon. People will say, well, can't you just call Facebook? And I laugh. I'm like, no. Yeah. The only way you get to call Facebook is if you spend a lot of money on advertising.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah. Or a big shareholder or something. Yeah. So, Tracey, let's talk some more about your business. How do you market? Since you said you're not always up to date on all this stuff on your own website, how do you market? What do you do? How do you reach your clients?
Well, I do social media, of course, but I also network. I have a couple of networking groups that I belong to on a local and national level. I'm a member of eWomen Network.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
yes.
Yeah, I love them. And I'm also a member of the National Speakers Association.
Oh, cool.
And I speak. That's really the best way, because when I speak, excuse me, it really helps me build that know, like, and trust right away, because I'm giving them great information and I'm relating to them in person. And then, they'll go back and maybe they like my page. And I also do email. I have an email newsletter, and so I send out great tips on my email newsletter as well. And then over time, they get to know me and they get to know that I am who I say I am, and I have the expertise that I share, and then they'll call. I actually have recently had requests for proposals just because people found me on LinkedIn.
Oh, neat.
I thought, wow, that's fantastic. And then, of course, I immediately go spend more time on LinkedIn.
Yeah, right. Well, that's great. That's great. I particularly think that the speaking is a wonderful thing, and I like the way that you said it. You're very good with words. I like the way that you said it, that, you build that know, like, and trust through speaking. And, people see you. You break down barriers of who is this anyway. And you're probably very good at telling some funny stories and being very engaging. And, so pretty soon they're thinking, okay, now I know her a little bit. I'm not afraid of working with her. And, possibly they'll call, which is,
Right.
Yeah. That's a wonderful way to go. Do you work mostly locally, or do you work some, out of state or regionally, nationally? Have you done that yet?
I have a little bit. I've done some speaking outside of the country, which is fun. I joke, I went to Victoria, which, if you're not familiar with the geography, is, a 3-hour boat ride. Or at least that's how I chose to travel.
Yeah.
And, but yes, I can work with people nationally and do, the primary difference is just being aware of the time difference.
Right.
And so what works for me in Seattle doesn't work for my client in New York. I need to be up a little bit earlier or posting a little bit earlier in the day.
Yeah. Have you used any of the the other web-based tools, such as webinars or phone call coaching or anything like that to market or actually to provide services?
I do. I have done. I haven't done my own webinars yet. I have done webinars with other people. I have one coming up with a New York book publisher in a couple of weeks. But as far as my own, they're very challenging for me because I am such a people person and an extrovert that it's hard for me to talk to my computer. And that's, even this, doing what I'm doing with you, we're having a conversation. And so this is easy for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to if I had some, PowerPoint that I was running and just talking through it. But I also do phone coaching with people. What's great about phone coaching is we can do screen sharing. And so I can show them exactly where they need to click or how to do if that's what they need.
Oh, that's super. That's a really good idea. Because remember I'm always talking about solopreneurship, and one of the limits in the past for solopreneurs was that they couldn't figure out, they didn't have tools to scale their business. And, that meant that they were pretty tied to local, or they had to travel themselves to some other place and build relationships and clients in another location. But, I keep saying solo businesses have gained in not only popularity but respectability and recognition as a very legitimate and wonderful way to be in business because e-tools have made it possible for solo businesses to scale. In other words, take their knowledge, their specialty outside of their particular area or region and reach people all over the country, And if you've got particularly if you've got a narrow specialty, that has scared people a lot, and they saying, well, I'm not going to be able to find that many clients here in, whatever my town is. But, with the Internet has basically eliminated geography. And you can have a specialty and you can reach all over because the minute you're on the web, you're global. And,
right.
You can reach out that way. And I think that has been such a boon for people who have wanted to do their own thing for a long time, but it did not used to be financially feasible, and now it is very financially feasible to do that. So I was just curious, how you're taking advantage of that, and it sounds like you're doing some of it. It's a good way to market your services.
There will likely be a time when I do a little bit more webinars or trainings. I know one of the things I'm in the process of creating right now is a do-it-yourself social media toolkit.
Oh, good.
So this would be for the people who really want to do it. They just need help to do it well. And it would be sort of a step-by-step. Okay, here's, step 1, define your target market. Step 2, what's your differentiator? I mean, I'm making that up because I haven't outlined that exactly. But, that there will always be people who want to do it themselves, but they also still need help. And more than anything else, I love helping people.
Yeah.
And it was very hard for me at first when I would teach workshops and I would give them all this great information and then say, okay, fly, be free. And then I would watch and nothing would change. And so I really have to rein myself back sometimes to not give too much advice.
Well,
so
on the other hand, there's a piece there that really opens the door for your consulting because one of the things I keep saying is that people are smart and we teach them in a workshop and they get it, but they don't know how to begin applying it. And the power comes when you actually take their hand, like you're talking about, and show them what keys to use and where to, put the arrow and that sort of thing. That's the application, because I think that's the gap in education, is between understanding the theory and applying what we've learned in theory to our particular situation. We're not quite sure how to do that. So, that really opens the door for someone like you, consulting with people to take the next step and help them not only learn it but implement it. And it sounds like you're doing that quite a bit.
The other thing is, for some people, they don't know enough to make a decision.
Yeah.
Whether to hire someone or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so giving them that education allows them to make a better decision. They go, oh, now I understand. So and when they know, then they know better how to make the decision.
Yes. So would you say, is it a high percentage of your clients that you wind up doing social media management for them, or 30%, or?
It is probably about 30%.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot more. I do a lot more one-on-one coaching, and which is great. I have so much capacity right now, and I am looking in the future. Okay, what does this look like to scale? And getting help. But for right now, I sit down and I have what I refer to as my social media multiple personality, because I log in as 10 different people every day and post on their behalf. I also, I'm fairly certain, though undiagnosed, that I have ADD, which is perfect for me.
Yeah.
Because it makes it very easy for me to bounce back and forth between Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and speak in those ways.
I suspect, Tracey, that if we ever did a study of the correlation between entrepreneurs and ADT, it would be very high.
I'm sure it would be.
I think so. I think an awful lot of people have turned to starting their own business because, they just can't settle into a job as defined by someone else. And, and I think what a great opportunity for all of us, because there's so much creativity that goes along, I find, with ADD. I mean, even though, you may call it yuck, I think there's so much creativity and innovation and curiosity that goes along with it that aren't we lucky that there's a route for all of those ideas to come out into the workplace and come out into enterprise. We would lose them otherwise, and this way we don't lose them. I think it's great. Right. So I've noticed that Facebook has just started charging money. There was an article, New York Times, I think just the other day, that said they're going to start charging you money to push information to your friends. $30 for every push is what I saw. And do you think that's going to make things more expensive for small businesses, or are people just going to be much more selective about what they do? I mean, Facebook's trying to make money now. They're listed on the stock exchange.
Well, and it's interesting because, one of the things I tell people is, make no mistake. On Facebook, we are the commodity.
Yes.
The fact that there's 1.2 billion users, that Facebook gets to use that to sell ads. Mm-hmm. So as far as there's some great things about Facebook advertising, some really great things. Yes, some of the engagement on the pages has decreased. But what I'm finding is for all of my clients, because we take the human approach, the relationship approach, our numbers have not been impacted quite like some that I've heard. Mm-hmm. However, for as little as $5, I can boost, that's the Facebook word, I can boost a post. So, for example, I taught an event. I did an all-day social media event, and I charged $280 for the event.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a post on my business page, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to play with this Facebook advertising a little bit. I spent $20, and I'm able to target it. So in this case, I targeted it to people who already like my page and their friends. And for $20, that post then was seen almost 3,000 times, which is more than I have people who like my page, and someone registered. So my $20 investment, it gave me measurable results. And that's really one of the huge benefits to Facebook marketing, is it really allows you to target. So all this stuff that we post on an everyday basis, Facebook is sort of keeping track, which I know might sound a little bit creepy, but they're keeping track. And so when I can narrow it down and say, I want to target this to women who are 25 to 35, who own a home, who have a college degree, Facebook knows all of that.
Yeah.
And it allows me to, so it's a great bargain.
Yeah.
Because you can spend as little as $5.
Yeah.
Now, how much am I going to be using this in my business? I'm not really sure. I am watching how other people do it. And the event thing is a really great way to try it because it's measurable.
Yeah.
I can know, oh, somebody just registered for my event because I posted it.
Mm-hmm.
I work on a nonprofit board, and we're having this event coming up, and they've given me a humongous Facebook advertising budget. And I'm like, great, then let's play. And they go, no, wait, you have to measure it. I mean, we can't just spend $1,000 on Facebook. We really need to get people buying tickets for our event. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I think that there is likely coming a time when small businesses are going to need a line item for Facebook advertising.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I can see
but
what
again,
you're saying.
It doesn't have to be hundreds of dollars. You could, spend $25 a month and
mm-hmm.
run, a $5 ad a few times. I definitely think that having a sponsored post is the best option because sponsored posts show up in your news feed. They show up right in the middle. Many people I talk to have those ads that are on the right-hand side. They don't even look at them anymore.
Uh-huh.
So those sponsored posts, the visibility is really good.
That's interesting. I can certainly see that you know your stuff, and you are staying on top of it, and you're engaged with it, and you're loving the work that you're doing, and I think your clients probably really benefit from that. And, what I hear also, which I think for me is the big takeaway from our discussion this morning, is that we've all had to adapt to social media, and it's changing continually as, if you get 1.2 billion people on it, you think, okay, how can I use this to make money? And so we're going to see more and more Google making changes, LinkedIn making changes, Facebook is making changes. So we kind of need to get ourselves up to a certain level of knowledge about how the things work, and then probably rely on professionals like you to stay fluent in the small nuances that really make it fabulous. It sounds like it's moving beyond a do-it-yourself sort of thing, that there's part of it you can do yourself, but for the most part, you're going to need somebody who, like you, is staying on top of it and really knows what's going on now. I mean, that's what I'm hearing this morning. So
definitely. Well, and it's interesting because there's another social media expert who I know, who I asked him about do you think it's okay for people to have page managers? And he said yes, but the one caveat he made was that if your business name is your name, it's really best if you're doing it.
Uh-huh.
So I have a friend locally. She really wants help doing her page, but her business name is her name. And in addition, she's brilliant at it. I mean, she may not love it, but she's authentic. She asks great questions. She's very engaging. Mm-hmm. And so even for her, I look at her and go, I don't even know if I could be her.
Yeah.
Because she's amazing at being her. I mean, obviously, we're all amazing at being us, but so it's just interesting.
It is interesting, and again, that would be where you could help somebody, make that decision, and if the decision is it would be important for them to be them, then they can move into your ideas on how it isn't a time suck, and which, is what's scary to everybody. So, Tracey, I know you're hardly going to believe it. We've talked for our time. Our time is up.
We have.
I've just enjoyed very much talking with you today, and I'm sure that we've got listeners who would love to contact you, and so would you share your contact information with us?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on social media. So some important things to know. My name is Tracey with an EY. Last name Warren. If you search for Tracey without the E, you won't find me. My website is readysetgrowmarketing.com. And, of course, I have a Facebook page, and it's Ready, Set, Grow Marketing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And, as I say, it's been very insightful to learn about what is going on in the world of social media today and how it's being used. And, folks, I think getting a professional like Tracey to help you as you wade into this area of marketing, all of us solos really need this. And again, listeners, I just want to remind you that this is Jackie B. Peterson. I'm the author of Better, Smarter, Richer, 7 Business Principles for Encore Solo and Creative Entrepreneurs. We're going to have an interesting guest next week. His name is Bill Zinke, and Bill is in Boulder, Colorado, and he is the founder and president of an organization called the Center for Productive Longevity. And Bill is going to be talking with me about Encore entrepreneurship and the imperative of Encore entrepreneurship. And, I think that solopreneurship is just the perfect business model for Encore. So be another interesting discussion. So, again, I hope you'll turn in next week. Also visit my website, bettersmarterricher.com, and we will tune in with you again next week. And thanks for being part of Solo Pro Radio. Goodbye.